Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for watching this video. Today, of course, this has been in the news for the last 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks. And it's the case of Eddy Alexandre, the United States versus Eddy Alexandre. Now, in the last week or so, I have done a couple of TV shows as someone with experience, not just as a former prosecutor, as a criminal defense attorney, but as someone who has personal experience with the system, understand the system, how the system works. So this video today, I want to speak a little bit about two things: fraud and cryptocurrency, okay? Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind, okay? Whenever you have a new technology, okay, no matter what it is, you're going to have people who's going to seek to take advantage of the new technology to make promises to people that they cannot keep in order to get away with their money, okay? So cryptocurrency is that technology that allows certain people to take advantage of others who, for whatever reason, may not know, okay? That's number one. Number two, there's been a lot of misinformations with regard to Eminix FX and what people have been saying in terms of what really happened. So my job is to help you understand. My job is to clarify everything for you so you have no doubt at all that you actually know what's going on, okay? First of all, there's been people in the Haitian community talking about a company called NovaTech, okay? Now, I have taken the time to look at the website of NovaTech, okay? And I have analyzed the website. I've read the bios of the 2 or 3 people who are supposedly in charge of NovaTech. And I'm telling you right now that NovaTech is, again, another fraudulent scheme to take people's money away from them, to separate you from your money, okay? And anytime you see someone, a company, providing you with some type of multi-level marketing where you can earn money by bringing somebody else. Guys, come on. This is not hard for you to understand. There's no way anyone can promise you any specific sum of money just because you invest $10,000 with them. That doesn't exist, okay? So NovaTech, first of all, is not in the United States. NovaTech is a company and the Grenadine and St. Vincent, it's in the Caribbean, all right? Now, that Grenadine and the St. Vincent is under the British rule, okay? And they have laws and rules that are different than the United States. So I'm telling you right now, if you invest your money with NovaTech and you lose that money, there may be very, very, very few things that the United States government can do for you. Okay, one of them is NovaTech is not operating in the United States. They do have a website, however, and certainly you can access the website. But I'm telling you now, stay away from NovaTech. I'm telling you that NovaTech is another fraudulent company. Now, having said that, the Eddy Alexandre is a graduate from NovaTech. He used to work from NovaTech based on what I find out through talking to certain people. And he basically wanted to duplicate what NovaTech was doing, okay? So, and I don't know, and I might hypothesize here because I don't know that for sure. My impression is that Eddy Alexandre was working with NovaTech, and for whatever reason, he disagreed with what they were doing or in terms of his positions, and he felt that he could do better. So he left NovaTech and went ahead and did his own company, Eminix FX. And of course, by now, all of you know exactly what happened with Eminix FX. But there were some people who asked me these questions, that what happened to NovaTech, and NovaTech was paying people 3%. And I am saying to you, it's a matter of time before the authorities come after NovaTech. Now, certainly it may not be the FBI, the FTC, or the United States government, because NovaTech, unlike Emini FX, is not operating in the United States. It's very clear on the website. They've said that their offices is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're not necessarily targeting U.S. citizens. Now, if you go on NovaTech, or you know Mrs. Pechon, who's the CEO, and perhaps the COO, the Chief Operation Officer, another Pechon, maybe her husband, or I think, and it's not by coincidence that the CEO of NovaTech happens to be also a pastor. So there is something in the Haitian community with pastors who continually dupe their followers and people who trust them, because of course they believe in God and they think these people have always, good intentions, and they want them to do well. Now, I have heard somebody say that, okay, the way to hell is paved with good intention, okay? It's always paved with good intention until something happens. But I want to tell the community, okay? Of course, all of you work very hard for your money. And you know that money doesn't come by easy, okay? It's very hard. You work very hard for your money. When somebody comes to you and make you an offer that sounds too good to be true, you have to ask yourself, how? Show me how you're going to do it. Have you done it yourself? For how many people you've done it? Show me where the investment is. Show me where you invest the money. Show me how it's done. Show me the account. So a lot of you, people come to you and say, hey, they bring somebody. The person say, oh yeah, I invested $10,000 and the last 3 months I've been getting, $500 every week. And all of a sudden now you believe that, because apparently the person you think would lie to you, maybe the person wasn't lying. Maybe the person did get that $500. But that $500 the person get is somebody else's money that came after him. That's how a Ponzi scheme works. What is a Ponzi scheme? A Ponzi scheme, guys, let me explain something to you so you guys understand, because I want you to understand, okay? All right, here's how I'm going to explain it to you guys so you understand, okay? Now, suppose I have these 5 sheets of papers, right? 3 sheets. 1, 2, 3. 3 sheets of papers. Now, I am the guy who's making the Ponzi scheme. This guy comes in, he gives me $10,000. I take his money, okay? It goes into my pocket. So you come, you give me $5,000. I take your money, it goes into my pocket. Then what I do is, your money, I give him $500 of your money to him. Now, he's happy because he's getting his money, but he doesn't know that his $500 profit come from your money, but neither yours or his money have been invested. So now I've got his money and I've got your money. I give him $500. Now, here's what happened. I tell you, listen, you can make money too by bringing a third person, right? This is you. Now, this is the third person. You bring this third person into the fraud. Now, that third person invested $10,000. Guess what happened? I take that $10,000. I give you $500 every week for about a month. That's $2,000. And then you don't know what's going on either, because you think that the $500 you get is actually from investment. It is not. Then this person now has to actually bring another person in order for him to continue making his money. That's how fraud works. This is what people do. It's not very complicated. It is very simple. Now, I know a lot of you who have invested with Emini FX, and you probably very convinced that your money was invested, okay? You're probably very convinced about that. Now, I'm here to tell you that didn't happen, okay? It did not happen. He didn't invest your money anywhere. The only money that he invested, he lost $6 million out of $9 million. So your money wasn't invested. Now, will you be able to get some of your money? And I know a lot of people in Florida, in Boston, in New Jersey, in New York City, especially Long Island. I mean, I have my own family members who invested in that scheme, in that Ponzi scheme. Now, certainly, they didn't call me to ask me for my advice. I've had, like I said before, I have had a couple of friends who called me and say, hey, I'm about to invest in this. What do you think? And I told them no. And I told them no because I knew even before this man was arrested that this was a Ponzi scheme, okay? I know how Ponzi scheme work. I looked at all this multi-level marketing. I know it was a Ponzi scheme. I told them not to invest. Now, some of them listened to me and some of them didn't listen. Those who did not listen to me lost a lot of money. I have a friend who invested $250,000. I told him that there was no way somebody could pay him 5% a week. Because first of all, imagine, how would the person know which way the market is going to, I mean, I guess they can take a guess, but how would they know? You can't guarantee any return. You cannot guarantee any return. Anytime somebody says, I'm going to give you no less than 5%, no more than 10%, you know it's bullshit, it's nonsense. Somebody's about to get rich over your head, okay? So, having said that, and like I promised that I would bring you update. Now, and somebody sent me a message saying that Mr. Alexandre is actually out on bail. He's at home incarceration. And let me explain what that means by home incarceration, right? When somebody gets arrested, especially at the federal level, unless it's a murder case, the court usually give you a bail. And when they give you the bail, it's really, the court believes that you are innocent until proven guilty. So they're not going to deprive you of all your freedom. They give you a bail, and there are different levels of bail, okay? Some people, for example, may just go in and sign their name and put up a property and they go home. Sometimes the bail is $100,000, sometimes the bail is $500,000, sometimes the bail is $750,000. But you have to look at the seriousness of the case will almost determine how much the bail is. In the case of Eddy Alexandre, his bail is $2 million, which tells me that the government believes that the case is very serious. He's looking at a lot of time. And I could tell you, based on my experience, if Eddy Alexandre is convicted, he's looking at between 12.5 and 20 years. I mean, maybe if he's got a good lawyer who can negotiate a deal for him, and if he pleads guilty early enough, he might be able to walk away with 7 years in prison. But I can tell you right now, my word, what I said, that if he goes to trial, he loses, he's looking at between 12.5 and 20 years. And this is, I practice in the same court that he's actually going to court every day. I spend years practicing the federal court. So I know how the federal court works very well. And I know the judge that is in charge of his case because I've appeared before that judge. Now, having said that, why did the court basically put his bail at $2 million? Why not $150,000? Why not $250,000? Okay, I'm going to tell you why. The court basically reasoned that this man actually collected $59 million and that this case is serious enough. He's looking at serious time in prison. If he gets convicted, the courts want to make sure that this man come back to court. You know, that the bail is basically to assure the court that you will make every court date. Now, here's what else they did, which in most cases, once you get arrested in the federal level, they took your passport, they set up bail, And for some people, they allow you to move around, okay? Now, in his case, the court has done something quite interesting. Not only the court asked for take his passport, pretrial services asked for his passport, they have his passport, but they actually put him on home incarceration. So, guys, that doesn't happen very easily. That doesn't happen as often, okay? I can give you a list of people that I know were high-level cases who were arrested. They got bail. They went home. I mean, Manafort, the campaign manager for Donald Trump, was arrested for kind of the same thing, fraud. And he got bail, but he was able to move around, limited, but he was able to move around. You know, I know people who were able to travel while they were waiting trial. The court is not going to allow Eddy Alexandre to just go to a restaurant. So in other words, he is inside his house, not allowed to leave the house. And in addition to that also, and the court actually ordered Eddy Alexandre to hire people recommended by the court, those are guards, so to speak, to be posted in front of his house to make sure that he stay in his house. So this is not a small case as far as the government is treating him. This is not a case of maybe 3 years in prison, maybe 18 months in prison. No, 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 no. This is a very serious case where this man is looking at some serious time. Now, I have heard through some of his friends that he has retained a good attorney. Now, I'm going to tell you my experience in the federal court, and you can take it for what it is, and you can ask the lawyer. If you did something that is in violation of the law, Jesus Christ couldn't be your lawyer and help you. You can have Jesus Christ. I mean, if you're Christian, you can have Jesus Christ. If you're Muslim, you can have Muhammad. But nothing is going to help you. You are going to prison if you violate the law. It's very clear, very simple. And I don't want people to say that they didn't know, because if you say you didn't know, I'm going to say that I did tell you. Now, everything that I've said to you before about Eddy Alexandre bail conditions is not something that I'm saying. It's right here. I've got all the document from the court. You'll be able to see it. I'm probably going to post it so you can see it. So all the documents basically explain exactly the conditions of his bail. Now, all things being equal, as someone with years of experience, and like I said, I was a prosecutor. I have prosecuted people, but I can tell you right now, if this case is a very serious case, okay? It's a very serious case. The government is treating it that way. And the FTC already filed a civil lawsuit. So they come out gun blazing. I don't think they're treating this case lightly. I think that this is serious. So what is it? What is the best thing for Eddy Alexandre? Now, I know in our community, we do have a lot of people who often talks about things they know nothing about. And oftentimes people who know don't get to speak because people just refuse to listen. I know that the minute that this man was arrested, I wasn't very surprised. And the reason I wasn't surprised is because 2 weeks before he got arrested, a friend of mine called me and said, man, I'm definitely going to do it. And I said, well, you can do it if you want, but when this guy get arrested, I'm going to be out there telling you, saying to people that I told you so. So the reason why I'm talking about this case is that I have been following MNEFX since November. Actually, since October, since end of October. I remember the day that I heard about it. I decided that I was going to look into it. And as soon as I looked into it, I knew it was all fraudulent. But I wasn't going to go out and tell the world that this is fraudulent. Obviously, you know, people can sue you for that. But I know that now I can talk openly about it because the FBI called it fraudulent. So I'm just repeating what the FBI is saying. But I knew before that it was. I've told everybody who called me and asked me for advice that it was. So I'm not surprised that this man get arrested. I'm not surprised that a lot of people are supporting him. A lot of people are, are upset about what's happening to him. And a lot of people are saying that, well, they're coming after him because he's Haitian, because he's black, and the U.S. government doesn't want Haitians and black people to have money. Listen, guys, would it have been better if the government allowed this man to collect another $500 million, $500 million? Would it have been better? Because a lot of you would have lost a lot more money. And then you would have turned around and said, well, where was the government? How come the government didn't do anything? Why did they let this guy go for 5 years or 3 years or whatever time you think he should have gone? So I think that the fact that Eddy Alexandre got arrested really 7 months into this Ponzi scheme is actually a blessing for the Asian community. Because think about how many of you would have lost a lot more money. Because the funny thing is, here's what people don't realize. You guys would have never find out this guy was conducting a Ponzi scheme unless you knew what to look for. Because every Friday comes, you get your 500, your 1,000, your 2,000, whatever money you invested, you get your so-called profit. And I said profit because it is not real profit. It's other people's money that you're getting. Now, talking about other people's money that you're getting, I want to say this to you, okay? If you are one of the people who had received your money because you started in the Ponzi scheme back in September, and then from September, let's say to March, you were receiving, your profit every week. Know that, I want you to know that once the government started looking at the paperwork, started looking at his bank account, started looking at who received money from the scheme. I mean, I know you had nothing to do with it. I'm not saying that you're going to get arrested. I'm not saying you're going to get into trouble. All I'm saying is that don't be surprised if the government asks you to return that money back, because that money you have not gotten it. You haven't earned that money in a legal way. And I have plenty of examples for you. There was the case of Bernie Madoff, the same thing. Some of the people who he actually used other people's money to pay, they had to return this money. I have another case for you. Georges Théodule, another Haitian guy who's currently in prison right now. Actually, I'm going to look up his case and we'll talk about it another time. But he did exactly the same thing. He was a pastor and he just took advantage of his relationship with the congregation, raised $68 million. And he was doing the exact same thing, telling people they'll double their money in 90 days. He was giving people the exact same profit that you guys heard that Eddy Alexandre's been talking about. Well, now he's in prison. He's got 12.5 years. So he's got a lot of time to sit down and think. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that he defrauded did not get all their money back. I think in that case, the government were able to collect only $5.7 million. And a lot of people just left there hanging, holding the bags. They lost their life saving. They lost a lot of money. So I want the community, the Haitian community, those of you who are watching this video, I want you to understand that there are people out there, okay, that you think you can trust. There are people out there who comes in with a smile on their face and they're going to steal your money. So if somebody comes to you and make you an offer that sounds too good to be true, please believe it is too good to be true. I want to thank you for watching this video, and as I promised, I'll keep you updated. I'll give you updates about this case. Mr. Alexandre is due in court May 24th. Now, here's what's going to happen on May 24th. The FTC case against him, which is a civil action, not a criminal action, a civil action, which I have a copy right here. The FTC is going to be represented by 2 lawyers from Illinois. They're going to come to Manhattan. They're going to represent the FTC. And their case, it's a civil case, which actually runs along with the criminal case. So, of course, the prosecutor, they're all going to come to court, and they're going to set up a date for what we call discovery, where the parties are going to be able to exchange whatever information that they have. That itself is going to take probably a whole year before we get to that point. They also going to be further investigations, and if for any reason the government believes that Eddy Alexandre can skip town, or he can, well, which I don't think he can, because he's got people in front of his house making sure that he stays inside, they may ask the court to reconsider his bail and put him back in prison until the case is over. So I hope that doesn't happen. But every time there's a court date, it's usually the same thing. It's usually the prosecutor and the defense attorney talking about when this case could go to trial and the discovery, how much time they need to conduct the discovery. The receiver, the gentleman who is the receiver, would probably be also in court. And I understand that, and I don't know if this is for sure, but I heard from a very good source that there's been a lawyer appointed by the investors. So I don't know who exactly appointed the lawyer, because somebody has to actually go out and look for a lawyer. And now saying the lawyer is the person who's presenting the investors. Perhaps the people who organize the petition, perhaps maybe the same people who got a lawyer. And that's a good thing, because that lawyer would be able to work together with the receivership. But with regard to the criminal case, like I said before, and I'm saying again, the petitions will not do a thing, especially with that judge. I hope that judge doesn't hear about the petition, because that would just upset her if she hears that there are 10,000 Haitians who actually sign a petition supporting what, you know, the FBI said is a fraud. Now, the other thing I'm going to say to all of you, okay? I heard that, and this is not confirming, that on the 24th, there are a lot of people who are planning to go to the federal court and in support of Eddy Alexandre. Now, let me tell you this, guys, okay? First of all, they may not let you in, because I don't know what you guys think. The federal court is not like a state court. You just don't walk in and come in and do whatever you want. It doesn't work that way. They're not going to let a whole bunch of people come in. And of course, the court dates are by time. So Eddy Alexandre case on the 24th may be at 3:30 in the afternoon. It may be at 2:40. It may be at 1:30. So it's not like you guys could, all of you could come in and can demand to come in, because listen, the Fed will lock you up. They will arrest you. They will investigate you, and you would be sorry, okay? So my advice to you guys, be very careful about what you are getting yourself involved with. First, you were a victim of a fraud, of a Ponzi scheme, and let the government does its job. And of course, if, you know, we'll see what happened a year from now, 2 years from now. We'll see who's telling the truth, whether it's Eddy Alexandre or the government. But knowing the government, I'm betting that the government is telling the truth, okay? So thank you for watching. Keep watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe, because it'd be good for you, all right? Thank you.